Today's question is, what is the shield of faith? In this video, I'll answer that question from a biblical perspective. Then afterwards, as always, I'll share some helpful resources, so stick around until the end. The shield of faith is part of the armor of God described in Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through 17. After summarizing the gospel and giving the Ephesians various instructions, Paul concludes his missive to them saying, in part, finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God, so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through 11. About the shield, Paul writes, in addition to all this, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Verse 16. The ESV puts it this way, in all circumstances, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming darts of the evil one. The Roman shield of the time was called a scutum. This type of shield was as large as a door and would cover the warrior entirely. Such a shield was not just defensive, but could also be used to push opponents. When fighting as a group, a phalanx of soldiers could position their shields so as to form an enclosure around themselves, called a testudo or tortoise. This was especially helpful to protect against arrows launched from the walls of cities they were attacking. Shields, often made of wood and then covered in hide, when wet, could extinguish flaming arrows. Clearly, a shield is vitally important to a soldier. It provides a blanket of protection. It is meant to be taken up in all circumstances. It is the first barrier against the enemy's attack. Often, shields were painted with identifying marks. A Christian who takes up the shield of faith identifies himself as a foot soldier who serves the commander of the Lord's army. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1 says, now faith is confidence in what we hope for, and assurance about what we do not see. Verse 6 stresses the importance of faith. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. Satan's attacks can sometimes cause us to doubt God. Faith prompts us to believe God. We give in to temptation when we believe what it has to offer is better than what God has promised. Faith reminds us that though fulfillment of God's promise may not be readily visible to us, God is true to his word. When Satan attempts to plague us with doubt or entice us with instant gratification, faith recognizes the deceptiveness of his tactics and quickly extinguishes the arrows. When Satan accuses us, faith chooses to believe that Jesus has redeemed us and that there is no more condemnation. Faith is one of the greatest gifts, and it is the means by which we receive grace and come into right relationship with God. It is because we have been justified through faith that we belong to God and have peace with him. Faith is the doorway to hope in God. Because we have faith in God, our suffering need not faze us. In fact, we can persevere under it. The things Satan attempts to use to discourage us can actually become tools in the hands of God. All believers have this promise. Everyone born of God overcomes the world. This is the victory that has overcome the world, even our faith. 1 John chapter 5, verse 4. Faith is a protective barrier between us and the schemes of Satan. When we believe God and take him at his word, we remain grounded in truth. The lies of the enemy lose their power and we become overcomers. In that way, faith is our shield. Want to learn more? Subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Visit gotquestions.org for more great content and check out the details section below this video. There's one book I recommend along with several links to related questions. If you'd like to learn about Bible Munch or if you're interested in bite-sized devotionals, subscribe to Bible Munch on YouTube. It's linked right here. Now remember, you got questions, the Bible has answers and we'll help you find them.